Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast.
Yo, and hello. Welcome to another edition of the Sneakers and Cleats podcast, episode 142 on this Monday morning. They need no introduction, but it's Chuck Miketinac on the far side, Don Harris sitting in the middle. Welcome in, everybody, to another Sneakers and Cleats.
Zack Hedrick.
The great Zack Hedrick.
Nah, it's falsity.
Sleep.
Did you guys know that Zack Hedrick was the band, what do they call it?
Oh my gosh, drum major.
Drum major.
This is old news.
This is really cool. I know it's old news, but not everybody knows it. But if you go to YouTube and just search Zack Hedrick OU band major, you'll see him with the big hat and the big rod thing and bending all the way backwards and all that stuff, leading out the Pride of Oklahoma band.
What was the Red River rivalry record when you were there?
3-1.
Okay. Funny how you didn't forget that.
Hey, lost freshman year. That was not fun. You learn pretty quick. It's not fun to wear crimson after a loss in the state fair, but you wear it. You take it on the chin, just like we did this past weekend.
The corn dog doesn't taste as good.
No, it does not. But there's nothing better than a victory corn dog, as Coach Sark found out this past weekend. He had his first one. He walked into the press conference and he's like, "Hey guys, I finally have my first corn dog." So
I saw something on social media that was quite disturbing. It was a corn dog slathered in mayonnaise and rolled in spicy, what do they call it? Flamin' hot Cheeto dust.
No, thank you.
As if you couldn't make a corn dog nasty enough. That's freaking gross.
So
I'm not going to be able to get that visual out of my head the rest of the day. Thank you.
It's the only way the flaming hot Cheeto dust will stick to the corn dog is it has to be rolled in mayo.
In mayo. What mustard or ketchup? Which condiment are you going with for your Fletcher's corny dog?
I like mustard with my Fletcher's corn dog.
Chuck, I know you may pass, but what topping or condiment are you?
I would have to do both. I was eating a hot dog, but a corn dog is most definitely off limits.
You're hard passing.
Hard pass. Yes. You ever had one of those things? They're nasty.
Bob, how about you?
I like a good corn
ever
dog.
enjoy a corn dog up at the state fair?
Bet you do.
I've never been to the state fair, but I love a corn dog with some mustard on it. That's the way to do it.
Mustard's the way to go. So feel free to weigh in on the comments. What topping you would like to go with on the YouTube channel. I believe we're streaming live, correct?
That is correct.
Also, as well, just some housekeeping things before we get started, dive in here. A reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel on both News 4 and Fox San Antonio. Be sure to download, review, and rate the podcast on your favorite podcast app or platform. It is Monday, October 14th. An overreaction Monday here after a brutal NFL, at least if you're a Cowboys fan. Some topics that we're going to dive into today, both the Dallas Cowboys and Texans. One really good, one really bad. So we'll dive into them. We'll recap the weekend that was in college football, and we're also going to dive into our high school hype squad, week 8, coming in hot this weekend. Some good matchups, really. We've got 2 top 10 teams going head-to-head this week, Pieper and New Braunfels, so we'll dive into that a little bit later. But first up, as always, we're going to start with our trivia question here this weekend. Cowboys blown out by the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell not sparing the rod against his former team. I love that he was trying to get an offensive lineman a touchdown.
Like 4 times they tried it.
It's like taking the dog's nose and just kind of rubbing a
100%
right in it.
Right. Yep.
So it wasn't the most lopsided loss, though, in Cowboys history. So the question today, what is the most lopsided loss in Cowboys franchise history? Do you guys have something that leaps to mind right away?
What I love about when Zach hosts instead of Matt, he puts the
answer
on
down.
the rundown.
Oh, well, there you go. Well,
I know.
Y'all don't get to cheat.
Notwithstanding, I would not have ventured to guess. Yesterday felt like one of those games that probably would have been in the top 5.
I did know because I remember it well, and so I don't know if we're giving the answer yet.
Well, we'll give the answer after we get into our first topic, which is, of course, the Cowboys. But if you want to have the answer, shout it out on our YouTube page or social medias. Let us know. Bob, give us an idea if anybody comes in with any answers or something. We'd love to hear them. We'll reveal the answer after we dive in. Let's get right into the Cowboys. Guys, we're watching the same movie again on a Sunday. I mean, it's getting really boring and bad driving up there 4 hours just to watch a butt kicking and then driving back afterward. It's just like, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just, they're doing well where they're surviving these injuries and cobbling something together, but then they come home and it's just like they're not the same team.
The Cowboys are soft.
Out physical.
They're soft. Look, I think it was surprising the score. I think we were all a little shocked. But should we be? The Lions were a 3-point favorite on the road. The Cowboys are one play away from being a 2-4 football team. And I get it. They're really banged up on defense.
Mm-hmm.
But even the guys that are out there, like Seven don't want to tackle anybody.
Nope.
And you can see it on tape. You can see him avoiding contact. You can see a lot of quit in who's out there. And then offensively, they can't run the ball, and there just seems to be a lot of bad body language still of the guys who are out there. Shout out Rico Dowdle, who's playing better and making a case to be maybe a really good football player someday. But other than Rico, I don't know. I can't find very many bright spots on this team.
Well, I think going into this, we knew that their offense would have to be really good, right? It's not a fair fight when you're going into a game with that many guys out on defense. That's what made the Pittsburgh win that much more shocking, in that they actually played fairly well. There was a 2-week stretch where combined they held the opponent under 100 yards rushing. You knew at some point it was going to catch up with them. And we felt like, I think we spitballed this last week, right? When you're going up against a team that's averaging 150 yards on the ground per game, that this was probably going to be the game that your offense was going to have to be perfect. And I just got a bad vibe on the first drive. Dak, although he had 3 completes, he didn't hit a single guy in stride. He threw an interception that, yes, there was holding, so they got that one called back. But even had that not been holding, that would have been a horse SHI throw, right? It was sailed. And then they go down on the next drive. There's some flow in the offense still. And then he turns the ball over again in the red zone. I don't want to hang all this on Dak, but in a week where they needed to be great on offense, trying to explain what we saw yesterday is very, very difficult. I get that the defense was not very good. I don't know that I can ever remember a Cowboy game where I saw more safeties or corners having to come up and make a tackle. But the offense needed to be better. That's where they were the healthiest. They can't run the ball. The throws were bad. Everything was bad.
And they're admitting it, They're admitting it. And Jerry was really upset after the game. You could tell. And so was McCarthy. They don't know what the answer is right now. The answer seemed to be we need to play harder and practice better, which that's not the answer. The answer was back 6 months ago with roster depth and roster talent. They don't have it. And Jerry Jones was asked yesterday, do you still think you have the pieces on this team to be a competitive team in the NFC? Yes. And he said, why? I just do. That's not a good answer because they don't. You start looking at the teams that have talent. I mean, let's just compare them to the Houston Texans, who they're going to play in about 2 or 3 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. The Texans have a quarterback. They have a great offensive line with all pros. They have dogs on defense in the pass rushing game with Will Anderson Jr. and Daniil Hunter, and they've got the back end. They got Petrie and 24 Stingley, and there's these all pros everywhere. That's just one team. The Lions are the same way with their running game, and too bad about Aiden Hutchinson, but yeah. I mean he's an all pro. They don't have that. They have Parsons, Dak, D-Law, maybe, and CD. Mm-hmm. And I can't think of, Seven had a great year, Bland had a great year, but I'm not sure those guys weren't one-hit wonders.
Well, I don't think that they are. I think this is, especially talking about the defense. They had a rotational group out there yesterday. The 4 guys that were on the D-line playing there weren't even on the team on August 14th. So I mean, you're mixing and matching right now, and your depth is horrible in really bad spots. Show me a bad team, and I'll show you one that has really significant issues along the defensive line or the offensive line. They're mixing and matching right now, and I guess at the end of this, the good news is they're 3-3.
Yeah.
It's not a horrible situation to be in relative to the amount of injuries that they have and how crappy they've played, especially at home. I mean, if you're going to lose, nobody likes watching what we saw yesterday, right? Because, I mean, who's going to watch 3 hours of that nonsense? I'm not. Nobody's got time for that.
Do you think they'll be 3-6?
No. I think there's a good chance they go in and beat San Francisco in this next game. San Francisco's got Kansas City coming up. Cowboys have a week off. They're going to get healthier. Hopefully they spent a lot of their offseason trying to figure out how to solve San Francisco. I think they did. But, there's a lot of pressure now to win this next game, but there always is in the NFL coming off a loss.
Right. It's a team with a lot of flaws. Just watching the game yesterday, I mean, it's the guys being running free in the secondary, and Trayvon Diggs, for all his ball hawking skills, not a physical guy, doesn't want to stick his nose in or anything like that. So it's a defense that, they were able, again, it's against the Giants and the Steelers, not known for their great rushing attacks. Correct. But, you still got to play. You play the opponent that's on the schedule that week, and, again, against a good rushing team, which Detroit is, and especially just they've got weapons all over. They got exposed once again.
Without a doubt. It looked like varsity against the JV yesterday. And then to your point about rubbing your nose in it, when you're trying to do goofy plays, trying to get linemen touchdown, I mean, that's the ultimate of getting big brothered on the ball field.
And you could tell Jerry was really PO'd about it afterwards. I mean, he kept saying about 3 times, he said, they were having fun at our expense. There were, I think, 3 targets for tackle eligibles, and then, of course, the flea flicker that worked.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were just toying with them, laughing at them.
Here was Mike McCarthy after the game and just kind of looking ahead at what this team needs to do heading into the bye week.
We're up and down right now. If you want to put on a grid, use mathematics, the analytics, I mean, the ebb and flow of what we're doing is way, too many highs and too many lows. And this is a low right now. They're, they double CD, pretty much,
Washington
most of the day. And definitely,
Right.
Fergie saw some doubles too. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. We got to continue to do more in those areas, but not getting the run game was really kind of put us on our heels, and that's not fair for our linemen. But the combination of run and pass is where you want to be. But once again, I think they were ahead of us at the line of scrimmage. There's none of us that feel good about how we performed today, and it's important for every one of us, starting with myself. They need to look in the mirror. They need to stick together. They ain't going to get any help, especially any help. And we don't need any help, don't want any help. So we just need to stay after it, keep working, and I'm very confident we'll come out the other end.
I'm not. I know you guys are a little more than I am, but I could see them losing to the Niners. I could also see them beating the Niners. I see where they're struggling. I can see them beating the Eagles at home. I think they lose to the Texans. I think if I look at the schedule, I think it's a loss, a win, a loss. So I see them 4 and whatever that is.
Yeah. That would be what, 4 and 6.
Yeah.
So we were
Washington
talking
too. Washington's really good.
Yeah, that's going to be a interesting contest when Washington, those 2 games roll around, and they close it out with Washington, in that, week 18, whatever it is, flex game. We were talking about it during McCarthy's, spiel there. The one saving grace for them right now, 3-3. It's not like they're dead in the water, and being in the NFC East where nobody's running away with it yet. You still got 4 division games in front of you. It's still out there on the table for this team.
Yeah, for sure. That division's horrible. I mean, Washington's improved. Washington's good enough to beat them. The only team that's not good enough to beat them is the Giants. But, if they play like they did in certain games, but I don't have confidence that they can do it. I think the wheels may fall off. I think the morale is as big an issue as the injuries.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to put a finger on the morale because, there are guys still standing up. Jordan Lewis, I know, Chuck, you brought up the injuries. Somebody asked him about that, but he goes, we won last week and we still had the same list of injuries and everything. I know Malik Hooker kind of brought up that same point of, hey, we got a bunch of guys banged up. I mean, I don't think maybe that changes too much. It's just, I still think Detroit, has their way with them and plays around and does all that stuff, even with all those guys, because I haven't seen that edge where it's just like, hey, you're coming into our house. It's like we're going to try and, mess around with you guys. And
Well, think about this. How good is the Saints? Not very, it turns out.
Yeah.
And that's a team when they were healthy that did the exact same thing as Detroit did yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, too, Houston's got a bunch of guys banged up, too, and they look solid as all get out.
Yeah. I mean, it's telling for me last night, too, while Jerry's having his mosh pits around him and everything, but seeing Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, Mozzie Smith walk out before the locker room is even opened, it's just pretty telling that it's just like,
They're off to get a corn dog.
Yeah, I guess.
By the way, that was a great picture you took of the scrum with Jerry yesterday.
Appreciate it. Well, it's just
Very nice. Well lit. And it was
thank
like
the
you had
iPhone.
a crew out there,
Thank
man.
the iPhone. Bob, what do you got?
So Rafa is got a question. I know, Don, you talked a little bit about what the GM should have done, but his question is, if you were the GM today, what would you do to fix this team to be a Super Bowl contender?
I don't know that you can, right? Mid-season. I mean,
yeah, I don't know what you do
I
either.
don't know that you can make any moves mid-season to make them a lot better.
You need defensive linemen. There aren't any out there. I mean, those guys get signed pretty quickly.
You know what our big question is today, right?
What?
Should the
Jerry
Cowboys
Jones be
fire Mike McCarthy?
Well, and so McCarthy was asked, Jerry Jones was asked about that last night, and got pretty snippy.
You think I'm an idiot?
With somebody, yeah. That was
which gave the guy a great opportunity to say yes,
I know. Well, that's the one thing.
which is what my Facebook fans are all saying today.
I mean, yeah, standing right there. I mean, are you going to really say? I would love to see somebody just go, well,
30 years of
That's when I think like the bag ends up over somebody's head and they get escorted out. That reporter was never seen again.
Jerry's not an idiot. Jerry's a genius. His team's worth $11 billion, but he's not a great GM.
So that actually,
Well, maybe he is. Back to my conspiracy theory that this is all a big plan. He makes the same amount of money
all
whether
part
they
of-
win or lose.
Yep, keep
Hey,
them
I
relevant.
thought Tom Brady actually had some good insight to what's wrong with the offense right now. He says they're trying so hard to be balanced by running and passing, equally or whatever. And he says if it was up to him, he would come out passing like crazy to open up things a little bit, to loosen it up a little bit, and then come back to the run. And I thought,
I feel like
might
they
know what he's talking about.
I feel like they tried that the first couple of drives. Chuck, you kind of mentioned it. They were moving the ball through the air a little bit. Now, granted, a couple of times the ball bounced their way, getting a defensive holding call on the pick. The ball bouncing off Ferguson and falling into Rico Daddle's hands. CeeDee Lamb doing his thing where he makes a great catch and busts it open for a big explosive play. But even and part of it is because of the score. They're playing behind. You can't run the ball, but I was looking at it, the first half stats, they had 10 carries and it's not even for 2 yards a pop.
Right.
It's non-existent.
It is totally non-existent. They came out yesterday and ran a dive play to start the game. I think, to Brady's point, it would be nice if you just came out chucking and ducking and attacking, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like they tried to do that after that first down play. But, again, some of this is they were going to try to go about this just like they did against Pittsburgh, in that you've got to have long, sustained drives to keep your defense off the field, right? And protect them as much as possible given how shorthanded they are. But when you're 3 and out or you're only coming away with field goals, this just plays into the opposition's hands, and you're exposing your own weaknesses because of how lousy your offense was yesterday.
And to your point, Chuck, even when Dak completed passes, he was making his receivers make really tough
Make them work
catches.
for it.
Yeah. Making them stop,
They're-
not hitting them in stride.
Yeah, they're not absolutely on target, and he sailed a few.
The red zone's struggles continue for this team as well. It started off right off the bat, that pick. Here's what Dak saw on that play. just explaining his process on that pick to Detroit on that second drive.
Second drive, feel good as well. Get down there. Anticipated a little too much, a little too early. Guy made a great play initially driving on the flat. He's got the flat in man. Threw it early with the zero blitz. Was protected, however. Let it hang a little bit. Guy comes off of that. Makes a great catch. Can't turn the ball over in the red zone. And then from there, didn't feel like there was really another positive play after that for us to build off of, to get anything going, and very frustrating. Everybody has a role, whatever that role may be. Make sure you understand what it is and it's carved out. And if it's bigger than what it was a few weeks ago, if it's smaller, whatever it may be, figure out a way just to be the absolute best in it. And as you said, 11 games left. We're going to take it one at a time. San Fran's next. So as we watch these 6 games, go ahead and get a jump start on a couple of their games and be ready to, as I said, to refocus after this reset.
So Rafa, I think, kind of already posed the question, what do you do to fix this team to become a Super Bowl contender? What do you do to fix this team in the bye week to be competitive? What are you fixing first? The run game, defense? I'll pose it to you. You're sitting in Mike McCarthy's chair. What are you addressing first in this bye
You got to
week?
figure something out along the defensive line. I don't know what they're going to do there. And is it just a matter of health? Is it scheme? Again, they look pretty good, mixing and matching the 2 weeks before, but it starts with that. And then secondly, you got to stop turning the ball over in the red zone. I mean, you got to stop turning the ball over, period. But I mean, they turned the ball over 5 times yesterday. The last time they got their butts kicked, it was turning the ball over in the red zone. I mean, this is football 101. I mean, you just can't do it. Kick the field goals, but that first interception that Dak threw was like, what are you looking at? I mean, everything is condensed, right? I mean, it was just such a terrible decision, throw, all of the above. You just can't have that kind of stuff in a football game and expect to win a football game.
And it wasn't the guy didn't make a great catch. It was an easy pick. It was an awful ball. Dak's making it sound like, it was an interception because the guy made a great play. No, he didn't.
He baited him into it.
Zach makes that play. You make that play, Zach. I've seen you with the big rod. What is it called? Staff.
It's a mace.
It's a mace.
Mace?
It's called a mace.
Yeah.
You squirt people with it if they're, making a charge at you?
No.
I didn't know that. Wow, I learn something new every day.
And
All right,
while
so-
wearing that hat, which can't be easy.
The Grand Poobah hat.
Yeah.
With the chin strap, how come it goes under the lip instead of under the chin? You would think that the hat would be more secure under here, but you put the strap right here.
Well, so no, they hook us up with. Don't lose your mic there. The football equipment team kind of hooks us up. It comes with its own strap where it's like it actually goes under the chin, but it's like no, if you're leaning back and trying to drag the hat on the ground, which is the goal, you get I actually went in and they got us a football strap, that goes on one of the helmets, and they cut it down, and it's like, yeah, there you go. So that sucker's not moving.
So the key to get the hat on the ground is stretching, I'm sure.
Stretching, a lot of core strength. I've done so many core exercises over the summer. So
You
yeah.
still do it 10 years later?
No, are you kidding me? Come on. No. No.
And the goal was never to be the drummer in Slipknot. See, if I could play drums, that would be my goal. No?
I mean, hey, I was on the drum line first before moving up to that position. So anyway, yeah, no, fun times. But hey, so Cowboys bye week next. They got San Fran. Let's actually talk about a team that is looking really good. The Houston Texans, real quickly, beating the Patriots in Foxborough for the first time in franchise history, 41-21. Guys, you saw this game a little bit more than I did, but really, Mike McCarthy talks about it all the time. This is a team that actually does play complementary football. I mean, their defense gives the offense tons of opportunities. Joe Mixon back into the fold, and when he's going good, biding their time until Nico Collins can come back. I mean, this offense looks really good. And C.J. Stroud doesn't have to do too much. He's not throwing for 300 yards. It's just, hey, just make the plays that are there.
It's a wonderful thing to have draft picks at the very top of the draft. That Will Anderson Jr., what did he have yesterday? 2 or 3 sacks, 2 causes.
That led to turnovers.
He's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
He's an absolute monster.
And him and Daniil Hunter, that's a pretty potent tandem that, you know, just give tackles nightmares all day long.
Sneaky pickup in the offseason, right? You get a guy with that many sacks career-wise. Daniil Hunter comes in, and again, they've got so much depth on that side of the ball. They've overcome a lot of injuries, but and when you can run the ball like Nixon and Pierce did yesterday, I mean, they were averaging 8 yards a carry in that ball game. You ain't going to lose.
And they did fine when those two guys were out with Abungawale and
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers.
Yep.
That's the depth we're talking about that you have to have in the NFL. You know, we're seeing it with Texas in the college game. They're losing a bunch of guys, but they don't even blink because they have that kind of depth. And Dallas's roster was dissected all summer long in Oxnard and before about why they're not doing things to strengthen their roster. And Jerry was all in on the young guys. And they don't have players. I mean,
behind the frontline guys, there's nothing there.
I'm looking at that team yesterday and guys making plays. I don't know their names. Some of them.
There's some of that,
Before we move on to college football, need to go back and give our answer to the trivia question. So again, at the top of the podcast here, what's the most lopsided loss in Cowboys franchise history? Did you guys know this one before I, put the answer on there for y'all's benefit?
I did not know.
But
Nor did I care.
Well. It was Buddy Ryan's 85 Bears, the legendary 85 Bears.
The monsters of the Midway. Bears.
Plenty of highlights of that game. Mike Singletary getting after the quarterback. I think it was Steve Pallure or somebody. It was just beat down. One of Tom Landry's, or obviously Tom Landry's worst loss to his pupil, Mike Ditka.
Bill Swirsky, home of the super fan. How many heart attacks does that make for you there, Bob? Makes a baker's dozen.
Ditka.
Yeah, the Hurricane's name is Ditka. All right, moving on to college.
Farley, rest in peace.
Moving on to college football here. Just a bunch of great games, especially late at night. You had Oregon, Ohio State, the classic Big Ten battle. Also, Ole Miss.
The classic Big Ten battle. Yes, it was.
You also had Ole Miss and LSU. Great finishes. The other big national game that everybody had eyes on, OU and Texas. Of course, that one not living really up to the billing, except for maybe the first quarter. Texas had the avalanche in the second. Quinn Ewers looked a little shaky to start. I know he said it wasn't rust, but maybe it was. But they found their footing, and really, we've been talking about depth and just how much there is. There's no way around it. Texas has tons of athleticism and depth going into this. There was a lot of talk of who's ahead, Texas or OU, in this move to the SEC. It's clear now, head and shoulders, the Longhorns are, building that program and built to last in this new conference.
The best thing I saw all weekend, Oregon, Ohio State. 32-31. Ohio State's got the ball, less than a minute to go, driving for the winning field goal.
Inside the 30.
Dan Lanning
runs
of
the guy.
Oregon puts 12 men on the field on purpose to stop the yardage gain by Ohio State to nullify the play, knowing that if he has an extra defender on there, they're going to get off the field or at least get a stop on that one down, knowing that it's going to cost them 5 yards.
Just run the time off the clock, yeah.
But it's going to cost them 6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And
4 seconds, yeah.
Or 4 seconds. And that ends up being the difference in the game on the next play. They run out of time. Genius. And I read that Buddy Ryan used to do that all the time in the NFL.
So he did. That was actually what I was going to ask you. Do you think he did it on purpose?
He absolutely did it on purpose. And Buddy Ryan was known to put 14 guys on the field on a goal line stand because it's just half the distance to the goal line. If it was near the end of the half, and you're saving clock more than you are yardage. It's just thinking outside the box. Yeah.
Bob, you got any other people weighing in on just Cowboys, Texans, college football?
Well, I believe this is Michelle. I believe the Cowboys lost that bad because of Jerry Jones' birthday.
Stinker of a birthday present, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jerry wasn't
But that's
happy.
all we got.
Gotcha.
Antoinette, right? Let them eat cake.
Texas, really impressive. Defense, too. I mean, they didn't really have to do too much. Oklahoma rolling in there with a freshman quarterback, set 2 safeties deep and say, hey, make us, beat us with your arm, kid. And Oklahoma was doing nothing. So
Yeah,
really
Texas
impressive.
has, excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, go.
11 on Texas. Colin Simmons, true freshman.
Yeah.
He's Micah Parsons 2.0.
Yep.
He's
Really
going
athletic.
to be an unbelievable NFL player.
Really fast, yeah.
True freshman, 18 years old out there, terrorizing people.
So, of course, that sets up the big showdown this weekend. Georgia rolling into Austin. Just what kind of this is probably Texas's best test. I know they went on the road to Michigan, but Michigan, a shell of the team that they were last year where they won the national championship. But this might be, the best quarterback that the Longhorns see from a defensive standpoint.
Chuck and I were talking. We were like, everybody thought at the beginning of the season, okay, you got Michigan, they survived that. Then you got the gauntlet of OU, Georgia back to back, and then you're good until Texas A&M. No. After this, they get Vandy, who, by the way, beat Alabama and then yesterday beat Kentucky.
Kentucky, yeah.
And then they got Kentucky.
Yep.
And
Florida
then
mixed in there too, just for
Florida.
good measure, which will at least be a slugfest.
Talk about welcome to the SEC.
yeah,
there's-
it really is. It's a brutal stretch.
Yeah. So I know a lot of talk, there was some talk of, hey, Oklahoma got this crazy gauntlet of a schedule, and Texas kind of at the start of it, it's like, hey, they got off easy. Well, everybody's finding out real quickly. There's no easy outs in the SEC between these two fan bases.
Not with
You got
Vandy
to
and
bring it
Kentucky
every
that
week.
good, yeah.
So Vandy, playing. They're the surprise, I think, of this college football season at the halfway point. So moving on, we're going to close things out with our high school hype squad moving into week 8 of the season. It's just blink of an eye moving so quick. Here we are. Heat of the playoff races, the district battles heating up. We're finding out who's going to be those front runners, who's going to grab those 1 or 2 top seeds. T&L top 10 hasn't really changed all that much from the past couple weeks here, but we're just going to run through quickly our top 10. Pieper, of course, still sitting up on top. They were victorious last week, beat Seguin. They were in control of that game all the way through. This week they've got New Braunfels, another team that is in our top 10, 5-1, 3-0 in district play. So both these teams, something's going to give in this district race. They would get the inside track to that top seed. Pieper, though, has been impressive this season.
Yeah, and what's going on in that district up there with Smithson Valley and New Braunfels and, Comal, man, they just got tons of kids. Larry Hill used to have all of them. And now they're split up into all these schools, and all those schools are really good.
Yep.
How about Alamo Heights too, right? I know you're getting ready to get them on the list here at number 2. But
Yeah, well,
Jeepers creepers.
that one
we all
team-
thought that was going to be a mega colossal battle against Victoria West, who's a really fine football team. But man, talk about path of least resistance. I mean, maybe see Alamo Heights winning that football game, but to win like they did, I mean, that was a really good test for Alamo Heights to, I think, show the rest of us how really good these guys are.
And what did? They did it by running the football. DK Garza, Michael Terry III, just probably one of the best 1-2 punches on the ground. Alamo Heights staying undefeated. They have Veterans Memorial next at Rutledge Stadium. So I see Alamo Heights again doing what they do. Michael Terry III going to make all kinds of plays. Steele just played at Rutledge Stadium. They rolled all over Judson. It was 56-3, not even a contest. Sorry to say. Right up next for Steele, they have San Marcos. This game might end up 77-0. I mean, San Marcos has been getting blown out all season long. They're still kind of dealing with the aftermath of some of their recruiting, sanctions, I guess, a little bit that they had.
Don't get me started.
So anyway, moving on from them, Steele, chalk it up. That game is actually against San Marcos, is not this weekend, but next Friday on the 25th. Next is Southwest. This one, probably our game of the week. It's the Fire and Iron Bowl, Southwest Legacy. Both these teams at the top of the district standings, up there with John Jay as well. Southwest undefeated.
district.
Yeah, Southwest Legacy, 5-1, 3-1 in district play. Of course, the proverbial throw the record books out the window. This one's going to be a lot of fun to watch on Friday night.
Is that the Dragon Bowl or is that Legacy?
It is at the new Dragon Stadium with the tricked out press box and everything. Looks really sharp at Frazier Field, so it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere down there at the Dragon Pit. Up next at 5 is Brennan, undefeated in district play. They've got Holmes next, so fully expect them to keep that perfect district record intact on Saturday evening. Then John Jay is at number 6. They're playing Laredo Nixon next, and that is out in Laredo. So that one could be interesting because Laredo Nixon 4-2. They're kind of up there a little bit.
John Jay undefeated, man. Hats off to them.
Yeah,
Well,
shout out coach for just his kid leaves, and I thought they were loaded with seniors. Whoa, they come right back and they're 6-0 again. They got a program over there at John Jay.
Talari Wellington has been playing very well for them at quarterback, a playmaker, and Anthony Rios at their running back spot. They can bust some plays wide open. Of note, too, John Jay and Southwest will play each other the first week of November. So if those two teams continue on, it's just like that'll be another juicy matchup in that district that could decide who wins that district outright. New Braunfels, we already touched on them. They're playing Pieper next. Again, Pieper, New Braunfels, undefeated in district play, so that's for the inside track in that 5A district there, so that'll be a good one as well. Taft Raiders, 28-6A, you're going to buckle up. You got to bring it every week in 28-6A. They play Sotomayor, who is 4-1 in district play, so again, that one is going to be a dogfight of who can move up and get a head-to-head, a crucial matchup win there. East Central, 29-6A in that one in their district. They've got New Braunfels Canyon next. That should be another good one, possibly a high-scoring one because the Hornets, man, they can put up some points. Yeah. They were going toe-to-toe with Steele a couple weeks ago. They just got done putting up 50 against San Marcos, but everybody's going to do that. And then Smithson Valley, they've got Seguin coming to Ranger Stadium up there in the Hill Country. Seguin 2-1, Smithson Valley 2-1 in the district standings. So that one is going to be an interesting battle as well.
That time of year where you start separating the contenders from the pretenders.
Yep. So it's going to be a fun Friday night once again. Again, we'll be sure to have all the action on Friday Night Fever. Be sure to also vote for our play of the week. That's up on our website, news4sa.com. Moving on to our TNL matchup of the week. This week, headed to the Old Rock Pile, one of the best settings in all of San Antonio. Got Highlands and Jefferson. It's been a tough stretch, a tough season so far for both these squads. Highlands 0-7, of course, not winless in district play so far. Jefferson 1-1 in their past 2 weeks here. They're also coming off a bye, so maybe starting to put things together. We'll check with Highlands a little bit later in the week. Our intrepid Jack Green went out and visited with the Mustangs this morning, caught up with Eduardo Cardenas of Jefferson here. Mustangs coming off a loss to Burbank last week, 27-7. But again, they picked up their first win against Lanier. Here's Eduardo Cardenas about the Mustangs and their season thus far.
The record doesn't show the type of team we are. We really feel like we've played well in some of those games. We felt like we could come out of there 2-2, and we didn't. But every single one of those games, we learn from, and it showed. We finally finished a game against Lanier, and we were 1-0 in district. So we talk about the kids. There's 3 seasons. There's a preseason, and then there's our district season, and then we got postseason. And right now we feel like we're still one of the better teams in our district. Just talked about it a little while ago that there's Burbank's got the first. Looks like they've got that zipped up, but we said there's 3 more spots open for anybody, and everybody's looking for a win. We're 1-1. We needed this last week off and to get our bumps and bruises back, and we feel like we control our own destiny in these next 3 or 4 games. They're high character kids, that's just what we preach, having high character and adversity and those things. And right now we are in the middle of adversity. Our record shows it, but we feel pretty confident this week and the upcoming season. You know what? That number 42 is pretty athletic. He's they're strong, they're big, they're strong and it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. They do a good job. Coach Landale does a good job over there.
So Coach Cardenas is talking about Highlands there, obviously, in that last little bit, but he laid it out there right there. These teams might be down in the standings a little bit, but again, you win on Thursday Night Lights, and the last 3 weeks here, you can go on a little bit of a run and claim a playoff spot and get into that postseason.
Chuck and I just hope for an evenly matched game and not a blowout. Looks like we're going to have an evenly matched game here.
Yeah, Jefferson's been really competitive all year. I mean, the record doesn't reflect it, but yeah, I just hope Highlands can, figure out a way to make this thing really competitive. It's been a really tough season for them, but again, hats off to Coach Eddie, what he's doing over there at Jefferson too. I mean, they're going to fight you, so we'll see what we got on Thursday night.
It'll be a great one. Awesome setting. It should be a nice, cool night for football there
70s.
at Alamo Stadium. So great football weather. Be sure to check that game out on the CWSA. Bob, got anything on the way out here?
I just had one question. If the game, let's just say the game gets out of hand, Don, can you spend some filler time in there ranking the top 10 uniforms, high school football uniforms?
The uniforms are.
As the uniforms are. I would expect you probably already have that list together.
I don't have a list, but I could make one between now and Thursday. And, here's the shout out, Chuck Miketinac. When we have blowouts like that, Chuck is always prepared with lots of pertinent information on both teams. He takes a lot of time to talk to these two head coaches earlier in the week. Chuck knows more about these two teams than anybody else in the city. By the time
I wouldn't go that far, but thank you for the nice work.
Because he does. He spends a lot of time with these coaches. He takes really good notes on each and every player that the coach talks about. Off the field information, struggles within the family,
all right,
injuries.
All right, we can stop right there, man. I'm getting cancer from the amount of smoke you're blowing my way, bro.
He's always prepared in case
No,
we have
that's
a
very
blowout.
nice of you to say, bro.
He also has a lot of heavy metal information.
Yeah.
We should do a hair list, though. I still think that could be something we could sell to a local salon.
Who's
Because these
got the
kids
best
every
hair?
week with their hair,
Best
Yeah.
hair.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, hair's out of control in high school. It's really like the basketball kids too, like the Brennan kids alone. Their flow is unbelievable. It's
elite.
everywhere though.
It's elite level flow.
Yeah, kids are wearing their hair really, really big, and it's pretty cool.
It's cool. You're
Bringing
not
back the
against it. You're
70s.
for it.
Yeah, it's like the
Not
70s.
dying on the hair hill, man. No, that's a foregone
Chuck and I are both jealous.
foregone yesteryear.
Sounds like maybe Rogaine has an opening here for a sponsorship.
They're
on
set-
this.
There'd be plenty of use there, I can assure you that.
They're 17, They might as well enjoy it while they've got it. Because I got news for you, kids. It's not always going to be that way. Believe it or not, I had great flow myself.
No.
I looked like one of the Brady Bunch kids. Remember Pieper and that party down the middle, wings and all that?
Oh,
Past
yeah,
my
that was
shoulders?
standard. That was like, you had to have that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let you into middle school without that flow.
That's right.
We're going to do some digging and find some archive photos here, and maybe Matt will roll those out here for the
All
next
right.
podcast episode. All right, that'll wrap it up for us. Okay, be sure to check out these guys and the rest of the TNL crew, Matt and everybody. Chris Koffis always doing a great job on the Thursday Night Lights. They will be at Alamo Stadium for Highlands and Jefferson this Thursday. Be sure to check it out on the CWSA at 7 o'clock. That'll wrap it up for episode 142 of the Sneakers and Cleats podcast. We'll be back here on Thursday. Everybody, have a great week.